Detroit, who dis? I don't know. It's just how I've been starting these videos. So, thank you for watching my non-edited, off-the-cuff fan videos for Only Murders in the Building. Wow. Episode 6, it's hard to know where to begin. It was so amazing. Lots of clues were answered, or questions were answered, but also more questions now remain, as usual. Welcome back, Arconiacs. So purposely I did not get on my Facebook group before and after the show, so I haven't seen it in 2 days for new theories or episode 6 spoilers or guesses of what's going on. Purposely, I did not watch anybody else's video like talking about episode 6 or theorizing about episode 6, because I wanted all my theories to be just from me and my husband, and then I wanted us to answer back. All of the comments still continue on the videos I've made to be amazing. Your theories are amazing. They're genius. I'm impressed. You guys think of things I don't, or else you have a different perspective than I do. My husband and I went back and watched the first 5 to see Howard's glasses, to see if maybe he had different glasses after the black eye, like maybe his glasses were broken or cracked, and he has the same glasses throughout. So we're like, okay, is this a continuity error? Or did he just not have glasses on when he got hit, or did his glasses they were that strong? I don't know. But okay, so let's hop into episode 6, because wow. First thing that was answered, we confirmed, Detective Williams was not the person that texted Steve Martin on the roof that night that said, "Get out of the building." I thought it was Lucy. If you watched the previous video, like his daughter warning him to get out because she had heard Bunny get killed, like when she was in the secret passageway. Not her. So they've been texting with the killer this episode. Of course, not knowing in the beginning. And so my theory is still that the killer is Marv, because who would have Steve Martin's number? And it would probably be somebody in the building that knew what was going on. If it's the killer, and Marv works in the building, we know that, but my husband brought up a point. What if Marv actually does live in the building as well? We don't know where Marv lives. He's a super fan of the podcast and he works in the building. So just another thing to throw out there. Okay, so episode 6, we determined Alice is not the killer. Instead, Alice, I feel, was using Mabel in her apartment to do her sick, weird art inspiration stuff based on these murders. Not okay. It seems like she was trying to be sneaky and lie to Mabel about her intentions and didn't tell her or ask her permission to do these things in her own apartment. I'm very disappointed. I know she's not the killer, but I wonder if she's still involved with the art piece case, like the painting. And if you noticed in this episode, a lot more things were added to that mural. Did Alice paint on that mural? Because Mabel was looking at it like, this isn't right. Why would you paint on someone else's art piece? Like, that tells me she could have something to do with faking that painting. Just putting that out there. I think those little subtle things tell about the person's personality. That's what they're meant to do, or they're meant to throw us off. And that's just the writing of the show. They're so excellent. Okay. In this episode 6, Poppy is the narrator and storyteller, and she tells us many clues that I will talk about. Firstly, she states twice in the episode that Cinda Canny is a liar. She uses the word liar. It's 100% obvious in the interactions with the trio and with, Michael Rappaport's character, the detective, that she is trying to point the finger at Mabel as being Bunny's killer. That is her direction she's taking in her podcast, and she's trying to discredit Mabel by getting this jerk guy she used to work with to say that she's crazy as well. And she's trying to set up the evidence to point towards Mabel being the killer. And I know that the knitting needles were involved, but I don't 100% think that Mabel did anything. She's just unfortunately being set up. We know that Cinda Canny paid 10 cases of gut milk to get info on the building. She might have got info on the secret passageways from Ursula, the building manager, or someone else in the building talking to people. And if she's trying to make the trio look bad to make her own podcast sell, or to shift the narrative to blame them because she was jealous that their podcast was so popular and she wants to be the queen of podcasts, she could have changed the evidence or planted the evidence. And my husband thinks maybe she used Marv to do that. Even if he's not the killer, maybe she used him to get around the building for her and plant things. What do you guys think? Okay, so she's out for Mabel. She's definitely trying to set her up to look bad. She's trying to show she has a history of violence. And, you know, it's been the whole series, but this episode, it was blaringly obvious. Unfortunately, Cinda Canny tells Poppy, what was I going to say? I'm never going to promote you. So she's never going to be more than an assistant, even though she does all the work. Cinda gets all the credit. They somewhat showed this in season 1. Poppy now has reason to help the trio after this point. Now that she's realized that Cinda doesn't really value her, she's using her and she's taking all the credit. But she's not very smart because Poppy knows all of her secrets. And she alluded to that with Mabel on the phone. She said, I know where all the bodies are hidden. I know all the lies. So it's not really in Cinda's best interest because Poppy could help the trio. And she might know clues, not knowing their clues about things that Cinda has done or set up to like make these podcasts more sensational, or things that she knows about the crime. Okay, so who has Charles's number to text him? Oh, do you guys think it's Marv? Do you guys think it's somebody else? Because we don't know who it is yet. We just know that they wear all black. They came to the park and we don't really know. Okay, the DNA thing, I was hoping they'd answer those questions on this episode. Some people are speculating that Teddy Demas switched the DNA results knowing that Will was going to get the test done for the school project, just to and mess with Martin Short's mind because of everything that happened with him getting arrested. I don't know if he necessarily could tamper or would tamper with someone's DNA or would know about that, especially being in and out of jail and like awaiting trial. But yeah, it's giving me a lot of anxiety. I really need to know the situation. And I know no matter what, he's really Will's father either way. So, okay, so one reason that I think Cinda could be the person they're texting, she might not be the person in black that shows up, but she may be the person they're texting, is because she says in that text when Mabel's texting on the set of Brazos, we all think you're too stupid. And Cinda outright the whole episode like puts people down and uses words like that are rude and is like demeaning and degrading. The only other person that uses words like that is Michael Rappaport's character, the detective. Like I could see him texting saying, you guys are too stupid to figure this out, or you guys are too stupid to do this crime. But I really feel like Cinda's the one who like would say something like that. So now I'm really suspicious that Cinda not only, maybe she didn't commit all the crimes, but then once she heard about it, she's making the narrative turn around and be pointed to them as being involved, and she's doing the most. So Michael's theory is, my husband, Cinda paid Marv to help plant the evidence. She's texting with the trio, and then he's carrying out her dirty work because he's getting paid. It's a great theory. I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, so the whole last scene on the train, which is the New York City subway, the underground. The killer has glitter on him. We know this is the same guy that came to the park. He approaches Mabel. We don't see those few seconds. Did he come and attack her? Was he mad she was on the same train? Or did he follow her to the train? Or was he just catching that same train because he lives in the same building and they're going to the same place, so they would be on the same train? Because she walked directly to the train instead of riding back home with Steve Martin's character in his ugly yellow car, which is hilarious. We always make fun of this car. And he could have just walked to the same train at the same time because he was sort of at the same location and got there to catch the same train. So was he following her or was he just going home is the question, which would make total sense if he lives in the building. And if he lives in the building, he probably knows about the secret passages, could be Marv, lots of that. Okay, so some questions still from the last few episodes we don't have answered. On the first episode this season, Amy Schumer said to Winnie the dog, "Did we ever find out who tried to poison you?" Everyone was saying it's Jan because it's her MO to poison. She poisoned Tim Kono and she poisoned Steve Martin. But she never poisoned an animal. Howard's cat drank the blood that had the poison in it and died. So she didn't directly poison that cat. But how would Winnie get poisoned? And why? Like, for what reason would she do that? And how was it poisoned? So we're not really sure that she was actually involved in that, and she didn't admit to that. So I wonder what everybody's, what your thoughts are on that. Okay, what I want to know is, where is Mabel's aunt that owns this apartment? Was she on, did she go live somewhere else while Selena's redoing her apartment for her? Because she said in season 1 that she was redecorating and kind of like demolishing and redoing her whole apartment. How did the bird get the name Mrs. Gambolini? Is this bird named after a person, Mrs. Gambolini? And is that a clue? Is this someone in Bunny's life? Is this someone that knew Rose Cooper? Nobody's talking about this. I think it's a very specific name. Why would you name a bird that unless it's after someone? That's a really interesting name. There's no first name, just Mrs. So I don't know. My mind just works in a strange way. Usually pets are named Tweety Bird or, a bird name or after someone or a silly name. But an actual person's name, like Mrs. So-and-so, I wonder if there's more behind that. I don't think Howard is the person that was in the corridor in the secret passage when Lucy was down there, because the person sneezed. And we know Howard's not allergic to cats, and we know that he's probably, if you have a lot of cats or you have cat hair all the time, you probably don't have a bad allergy to things. It kind of goes together. Most people that are allergic to things in the environment would be kind of allergic to pet dander too, maybe mold as well. So we got to figure out who sneezes and coughs. Has anybody noticed anybody in the building doing that, or Marv? My husband seems to think that Bunny wasn't saying 14. He thinks she was saying painting. I don't know. It's just, they keep showing flashbacks, so it's what Selena Gomez thinks she heard or thinks she remembers, but she was in a state of shock. So you're not really at your best, clearly thinking at that point. So what do you guys think she was really saying? And that's about all of my theories for episode 6 and before episode 6 that are either unanswered or things that I am trying to put the pieces together in how our mind works. My husband and I, Michael. So please let me know your comments on any and all of these theories and what you guys think. And thank you so much for watching. Please pass these videos on if you think they're good, and subscribe. And I will keep making videos every time an episode comes out or I think of something to make a video about pertaining to the show. Thank you.